This morning, J.P. Morgan is out with a dire forecast, now estimating that the unemployment rate in the U.S. will hit 20%, shedding 25 million jobs, and that the U.S. economy will shrink by 40% in the second quarter. Joining us now is Seth Harris, former acting labor secretary. He oversaw the rollout of the 2009 stimulus package under President Obama. Mr. Secretary, great to have you with us. I want to play you some sound from the Fed Chair Jerome Powell about how he is assessing the ultimate reopening of the economy.
We need to have a plan nationally for reopening the economy. What we all want it to happen as quickly as possible. We all want to avoid a false start where we partially reopen and that results in a spike in coronavirus cases, and then we have to go back again to square one. We all want to avoid that.
We want to avoid a false start. That's an economic prescription from the Fed chair, not a medical prescription there. Why is he making that?
Well, because there is no separation between how we address the pandemic and how we heal the economy. We're not going to bring people back to work and then allow them to get sick and die. That's the wrong answer. I think it's foolish for us to be setting May 1st as an artificial deadline. We need to let the science drive the decision making, not the politics. What we know for sure, John, is that America's employers are absolutely not ready to bring their workers back safely. We're seeing that sadly in workplaces that are open right now: Amazon warehouses, grocery stores, transit systems, fast food restaurants, even hospitals, where workers are getting exposed, they're getting infected, and they're getting sick, and some of them sadly are dying. We need to change that if we're going to open the country back up.
So we saw a microcosm of a workplace dealing with these issues yesterday. It was the White House, which is a workplace. There was a reporter who had showed some symptoms 2 days ago of coronavirus. So yesterday before the briefing, they tested everyone who walked into the briefing room. That is how they handled that workplace. So what happened there, how does that reflect on the wider economy as we talk about reopening?
Right. Well, employers need to have plans for how they're going to bring their workers back and how they're going to keep them safe. So you start with a plan, and then you start with, how do you keep people who are sick and infected out of the workplace? You give them paid sick leave. You encourage them to stay home. You have to be careful about how many people are coming into your workplace. Then you have to have what are called engineering controls. You have to design the workplace to maintain social distancing in the workplace, hand washing, other protections. And then for workers who are going to be in regular contact with each other or with customers, they've got to have all the personal protective equipment they need, as well as deep cleaning. And that's just a start, John. So there's a lot of work to be done before we get people back to work.
You can't divorce the medical discussion from the economic discussion. The White House is talking about two task forces that will work separately, but they have to be part of the same discussion. It is all connected here in so many ways. I want to talk about the unemployment numbers that we've seen. 6.6 million people filing last week. But you say that is an incomplete story. Why?
It is an incomplete story, John. We're already at either 19 or 20% unemployment as of the end of this week. We had millions more people who filed for unemployment claims this week. We won't get that number until Thursday. And also, there are a lot of people who are struggling to file their unemployment claims. So that number, the unemployment claims number, is more a reflection of the capacity of our nation's unemployment insurance system to take in and process claims than it is a measure of unemployment. We are headed towards Great Depression levels of unemployment in our country, and that's going to happen in the next couple of weeks.
You just used the Great Depression phrase there. How apt of a comparison is that?
Well, it gives us a measure of what really catastrophic unemployment looks like in our country, but it happened quite differently. In the Great Depression, we had an underlying economic collapse. The markets collapsed, the finance system collapsed. Here, we have essentially voluntarily shut down large segments of our economy. We've never done anything like this before, so we don't know how quickly we're going to be able to get back from it.
Can I ask you, based on your experience in 2009 and 2010, when jobs do start to reappear, what do people need to know? What lessons did you learn then that you can pass on to people as they start looking for work whenever that does happen again?
Well, that it's going to take some time. but that they need to be prepared. Often what happens during economic recessions or depressions is that people take the opportunity to improve their skills, to go back to school, to acquire additional credentials. But unfortunately, so far, Congress has not appropriated additional money to make that possible. We need huge investments, not only in education, but in workforce development, job training, so that people can be ready to go and employers can be ready to employ them.
Seth Harris, great to have you with us as always. You make everything so understandable. I really appreciate you being with us.
Thanks, John.